Hey folks, MACT back, and I'm here to continue on with my reviews of maintenance for the 2.0 Ecoboost 2019 Ford Edge Titanium that I have that is all-wheel drive. And the next thing I'm going to talk about are the old Sparkies. That's right, spark plugs and coils. Just an overview to see, before we jump into it, what kind of things are we going to possibly have to do to change the plugs. Now, I'm nowhere near needing to change plugs on this thing, but I want to give you my opinion and viewpoint on what's going to happen to change the plugs, so that you know ahead of time what you're getting into to actually do this spark plug change. So let's go ahead and look at the engine and look at the coils and see what we're going to have to do to change these coils. I thought it would be easy. Just leave it at that. Let's check it out. Now, if I was a betting man, I'd say right over here. I haven't checked the spark plug numbering order, but let's just assume it's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, not a problem. There's only 4 plugs. It's a 4-banger, and I'm not going to cover the size of plugs or anything at this point. That's really not what I'm aiming for right now, but the coils are definitely different. So your standard coils for your old 3.5s, 3.7s aren't going to work on this. The connectors are a lot more delicate. You know, they're just more delicate in my first impression of them. But say coil 1, coil 2, and coil 3. Hey, not a problem. We got coil 2 sort of kitty-wampus off to the side because of the oil fill, and they give you a little tiny bitty oil fill, and your dipstick is right there. It's all easy to get to. You can reach this one here, the bolt. You could probably have to end up taking this hose connector and releasing this hose connector. PCV, I believe, is what that's going to be. Breather tube, if nothing else there. So we're going to have to disconnect this to get to the third coil, to get to the nut to release the coil up and bring it up. So that's going to have to come out. Now, if you don't have clearance, then we might have to take the intake off, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably going to have to take and do a little more work. First of all, number 4 coil right down here, folks. It is covered with the intakes for the breathers. Yep, we got all this here going into the intake. So we have to release this one and this one we have to release. Then we have this thing right here. Now this is your high pressure fuel pump. Now we're going to have to take and get to that. So they got the high pressure fuel pump covered up with this little foamy thing. But we're probably going to have to undo these 2 bolts on this to pull this high pressure fuel pump up and out to get to number 4 coil. So all in all, you think, well, 1, 2, 3, I'm doing pretty good, and then you get to number 4. And number 4 is going to require you to remove this high pressure fuel pump, and that's a whole nother game all by itself, but should only take you a few minutes. There's only 2 bolts to it, a couple wire connectors, and then off it pops. But it's something that you probably don't want to drop or play with or do anything else with that could cause you ultimately problems. And the purpose of this cover is, I guess, just to keep everything good shape in the fuel cooler. That's all I can assume. But you have to remove this to get this hose out of the way to get to this coil. There's no other way around it. So maintenance, you're doing fine for 1 and 2. Bob's your uncle, they're out. You got to pull the hose off for number 3. Then Bob your uncle, it comes out. And then you got to remove your high pressure fuel system in order to gain access to this last number 4 coil. So I guess it's better than taking the intake off. I give it that much, but then again, I'm sure that there's a torque spec for these, so you're probably going to have to torque these back down. I'm going to say, based on the size of the bolts, we're probably looking at 89 inch-pounds. No more probably. I'd be surprised if it's more. But you're going to probably have to torque that back down. I don't know if there's gaskets involved or anything like that, so there may be other issues we go through. But this is my viewpoint and what we're going to have to do to change the coils and plugs on this 2.0 Ecoboost if we're going to be doing that. And you probably need to do it about 60,000 miles. So I'm about 50,000 miles away from doing this, a little more. Then I'll have to be doing this here and changing these plugs. But this is my viewpoint on it, and let's wrap this thing up. Well, folks, that's it in a nutshell. Changing the spark plugs is never easy, but we do have a couple hurdles to jump when we're going to do the spark plugs on the 2.0 Ecoboost on the Ford Edge. So you got to get some preparation ready to go before you start doing it. Just like you did on the older Ford Edges with the Duratex. Takes a little prior planning on this 2.0 Ecoboost, but you can do it. I'm pretty sure it's not that difficult, and when I do it, I'll definitely make a video on it. But I just wanted to let you all know what my opinion on it is and what I'm seeing that's going to have to be done to change these plugs. So just be prepared for that aspect of it. Make sure you have everything ready. And like I said, I'm not into what plugs they are. It's easy enough to find a plug. I'm just talking about the actual job of changing them, what you need to plan to do. So this is MACTFORDEDGE got Boost. And make sure you like, subscribe, join, all that good stuff. And the Band of One's got some great music. Mercer Girl's got a couple one-liners. And my feet hit the floor today. I'm having a great day, and I want you to have a great day too.
Thank you for watching MacT's videos, and remember to like and subscribe. This is a Mercy Girl production.